All right, so the first word here to write down is chromosome. So thinking about a chromosome, you have to go way back to cells when we talked about a nucleus. And inside of that nucleus is where the chromosome is. So chromosome is a structure found inside of the nucleus that contains all the DNA, all the genetic information. And each parent provides 23 chromosomes for a total of 46. So again, think back to a cell with a nucleus, and we always said there's that genetic information inside. This is the genetic information. It's DNA wrapped up inside of this little guy right here called a chromosome. It's this X shape. So here you can see chromosomes again. And we'll talk later about mutations and things that occur within each chromosome and what that means. Your next word is a gene, not genes like blue jeans, a gene like this. So a gene is a section of DNA found on the chromosome that determines the inherited traits that you have received. They come in chains. So you can see here's my chromosome, here's that little X shape. And if we unwrap that chromosome, that's where the genes are. You can see another example here. So this is absolutely teeny tiny, microscopic. You can't even see it, but this determines everything about you. Again, you can see the genes here. Don't worry about the coding so much right now. We'll talk about this later, but it's kind of like a computer, so it's really cool. But again, you can see the genes out here. An allele. Don't let this word confuse you. So chromosomes, what we find inside the nucleus. That's the little X shape. The gene is just sections of DNA found on the chromosome. An allele means a variation of that gene, a difference, a variation of a trait. We have billions of variations because not everyone has the exact same hair color, the exact same eye color, the exact same skin tone. It's different, and that is an allele. It's a variation that was provided from our parents. So here we can see we have 2 chromosomes. There are 3 genes coded here and 6 alleles, 6 variations of this same gene. So alleles are just variations of a gene. Everyone gets a gene coding. Like, for example, everyone gets a coding for blood type, but what you get is an allele. Whatever type you have is based on an allele. Everyone gets the gene for a blood type, but the actual type that you have is determined by the allele that you receive. The next word is a trait. Traits are just the genetic characteristics passed on. This is what we see when we look at each other. This is what you saw in the very first people that you notice: hair color, eye color, freckles, dimples, fingers, toes, ears, and earlobes. These are all the things that are traits. It's the expression that we can actually see. So here again, we can see traits. It's the expression of that allele. Whichever one that we can actually see is a trait. So what does that really mean? It means that alleles are the ones that give the genetic instructions. So again, everyone has the gene. The allele is the variation that determines who you are. And that is where we're going to stop for today. Please be sure to ask your teacher for follow-up questions and make sure you watch the videos we've attached. This is a really cool unit, but it definitely requires some repetition of a skill. So make sure you have all of your notes. You can go back and watch this again and be prepared to make some flashcards.